kit we're going to record is very, very special. It's called Pearl Masters Premium Legend. And what's very special about that is, so Pearl is originated in Japan, but there's a headquarters in the US and one in Europe, in Venlo. And so Pearl Drums Europe built this kit specially in Europe. They designed it. So for the first few years, it wasn't even available in the other markets. And what they did is it's a special thin shell with reinforcement hoops. And they say it's kind of a tip of the hat to all the greats that recorded throughout the 80s. Jeff Beccaro, for example. And so that was something I really wanted because I like thin maple shells. And that's what this kit is. And it looks amazing. It's a beautiful drum kit. Well, it feels good. The response of the kit, the sound of it is special. And it may sound funny, but every time I change the heads, it has a very special smell too. Any other Pearl artist would probably know that, but it smells great every time I change the heads. That would be it, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody
That's a great question. That was one of the greatest compliments I ever got. I was reading a magazine article, and a famous artist, a guitar player, said, I heard this record and it sounded like Randy Black. And for me, that totally caught me off guard. It wasn't, oh, he's fast, or he has all these chops and stuff. That really hit home. So I think it's a combination, but it's in the hands a lot. I have to admit. There's, for example, I think of Eddie Van Halen. He'd play on anything, and other guitar players would say the same thing. It just sounded like God, whatever he played. So I think most of it is from a drummer's hands. Mm.
Very cool. And
Again, a combination of both of those things. For example, on this project, I'm very happy to be working with Charlie again, because I've done a lot of records with a lot of different bands, and the two that he's done with me, that we did together, I listened to those drum sounds, and I think he captured my feel with the sound as well, and the way it was mixed. And every time I hear it, I think back to working with Charlie in the studio, the time he took with all the preamps, the tuning, where to place the room mics. So it's both. It's how I hear it, and then in the end production, who engineered it and then mixed it, of course.
I always have the feeling.
I know, especially in the genre I'm known for, thrash metal, where it's all loud hits all the time. Less dynamics is better, angeblich. But I'm more I want to hear the ghost notes. I want to hear that I played louder in this section than the last section. So I'm more, I like the kind of old school productions where you hear, like for example, that comment I mentioned, oh, that sounds like Randy Black. Or what I think in modern productions is lacking is you listen to a record and you go, now I'm finding myself going, oh, that sounds like that producer, not that drummer. And I miss that. I prefer oh, that sounds like this drummer. That sounds like that drummer. Because they have that special sound. And that's what's lacking in modern productions, I think, where it's like too many samples, not enough dynamics.
Got it. And when you were
Both, in a way. I wish I had the possibilities to check out my favorite drummer on YouTube, for example, or learn something new on YouTube. It's endless what you can learn on the internet. But I think what's lacking with young drummers, not all of them, but they want instant fame. And they don't go out there, and we call it paying your dues, or that's what we did when I was younger. And I didn't understand that when I was just a teenager drumming. It's like, what does this guy mean? I'd read in an article, pay your dues. And that means going on a 7.5-month tour across Canada, playing in shitholes, like really bad places. When you're sick, you know, unless you're hospitalized, you have to play. And this, I think, builds up character in a musician. And just playing every single night in different clubs and different situations, that you can't get by learning in your basement and watching on YouTube. So this is what I think is a little bit lacking. They all want instant fame and don't want to do another rule is the 10,000 hour rule to master your instrument, for example. And for me these days, when I tell my students, that's nothing anymore. 10,000, I still got 20, 30 to go. I'm still practicing new stuff. So the patience, I think, is less in modern younger players overall. Well, I get it, I guess, just from, I have a backlog of stuff I've wanted to practice for decades, basically, but something always comes up. For example, I want to improve some of my jazz playing independence, which I don't intend to play in a jazz band ever, but I know it would improve my drumming, and I teach, so it's good to teach those things. But so I still have the inspiration from all the stuff I wanted to learn. What inspires me is just learning new stuff, like, for example, Latin rhythms and stuff, which is fun for me to play, and I didn't learn that as a younger drummer. And it's good for me to learn that to teach younger players too. So those are the kinds of things. And I have to admit, Instagram and YouTube, I will come across some things and go, okay, I'm going to save that and learn it a little later. So I'm a victim of that as well.
Very cool. And last question.
And this is honest answer, both now. For the last 30 years, I think, I've been playing to a click track pretty much every night for various reasons. I started because there was conflicts within the band I was playing in that time. You come off the stage, every drummer will know this. The guitar player says, oh, that was too fast tonight. The bass player says, you know what, that was too slow. The singer was like, perfect. So I had enough of those arguments, and I said, I'm going to start playing to a click and just try it out. So I started playing to the click, and everyone was happy. We decided on a tempo, and it made things very even. In more recent times, it's been a lot of bands play with tracks, backing tracks. So you have to play perfect in time to that. So you need to play to a click. Or recently I played in Wasp, where it was backing tracks and video. So that's important to play to a click. But then, earlier this year, we played 70,000 tons of metal, and I forgot an important piece of my gear, and I couldn't play to a click suddenly. And at first I was a little like, oh man. Long story short, we had two of the best shows Destruction's had in so long. The crowd was very happy, the band, the energy. It felt so good to not play with a click. So now I'm mixing it up. Certain songs feel good to play to a click, and certain songs I don't. But it's very important for young drummers to understand that it's a must to learn to play to a click and not be scared of it or intimidated, because you need it.
But it's a good sign if you are able to work with the technology, but you're not lost if the technology is not there.
Exactly. But you have to.
Beat inside of you.
Right. But that comes from practicing with the click. It's that age-old metronome thing. It's very, very important, especially as a drummer, because it falls on our shoulders that the drummer has to be in perfect time. But it's everyone's job. But it's our responsibility to be in good time.